Hello and welcome to the Living in North Austin YouTube channel. Today we are going to be looking at a map of Austin, Texas. If you're new to the area or have never been to Austin, this will be a great overview to give you a layout of different parts of the city where, places are growing, where there's a lot of new housing going on. And it'll just give you kind of from a 30,000 foot view, the city of Austin, different parts of area that are more expensive, less expensive, all of the above. So let's jump right in. My name is Connor Olson. This is Living in North Austin YouTube channel. If you have any interest in relocating to the Austin area, feel free to send me a text or an email. My information is down below. Click that subscribe button. That way you will be the first to know about any upcoming videos about the Austin area. So let's jump right in. So this is Austin, Texas. As you can see, kind of like a little funky shape. It reaches really far up here, cuts kind of in down here, and then it reaches pretty far out to the west as well. So this is Austin, Texas. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So the population of Austin itself is just under 1 million people. Again, this is Austin. The population of the Austin metro is just over 2 million people. So within this bigger circle is considered the Austin metro, and this is 2 million people, and this is 1 million people within the actual city limits. So there's a lot of people living in the area. We have a lot of suburbs that, are actively growing. A lot of people have relocated to Austin recently. So I want to give you some perspective. So if you go back, here's a population. Nope, that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see this further back, but I guess we're looking at 1990. 1990, we had 500,000 people living in Austin. And today, we are at 1 million. So compare that to Dallas, where they had 1 million in 1990, and today they have 1.3. So Austin has really gained population a lot faster than, for example, the Dallas area. So that is a little bit about the population of Austin. So Austin really has two major freeways that run through Austin that you're going to be on practically every day if you have to drive around the city. So the first goes right through downtown, and this is I-35. So as you can see, I-35, it goes all the way up. If you go north, that's how you get to Dallas. If you go south, that's how you get to San Antonio. To San Antonio, it's about 1.5 hours or 1.5 hours, I should say. Up to Dallas, it's about 3 hours. And then you hit some other cities like Waco, Temple, some other cities that you might recognize. But those are the two major cities from Austin. Here, I'll zoom out because most people don't know where Austin is located in relation to Texas. So here's little Austin, and here's San Antonio. Dallas, like I said, it's about 3 hours that way. Houston is about 3 hours to the east. So this is a big triangle within Texas, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but I want to say 75% of the population of Texas lives within this triangle. The four most populous metros in the area. So just a lot of people. And it's nice because Austin it's right in the middle. It's not too far to get to any of them. It's not too far to get to the beach. I've gone to Corpus Christi down here, gone to Galveston over here. They got some nice little beaches. And again, it's 3 to 4 hours to get to both. So Austin's a nice centrally located place. Just a little bit, I guess, more info about Texas now that I'm zoomed out. So you can see, especially on this map right here, this is kind of what separates West Texas from East Texas. So over here, it gets really dry, it's really flat. And the further east you go, that's when you start getting more like the South, more water, more rivers, things like that. So you can really see on this map, cutting basically right through Houston. This is where a lot of the water is. Austin has quite a bit of water compared to the other suburb or the other major metros. We have a lot of lakes. We have a lot of creeks that run through town. It's really, really convenient. It makes getting outdoors a lot easier. Austin is known as like the outdoorsy city of Texas because there's a lot of hiking. To Texans, hiking is like a 2-mile walk along a flat river, which to me, hiking is a little bit different. It's, like straight up a mountain, but we have hiking here. So, okay, enough about that. So that's I-35. That's going to be one of your main freeways. The other main freeway is going to be the 1 or Mopac. Most people just call it Mopac. It stands for the Missouri Pacific Railroad, which it's a railroad that was the railroad at one time, and then they just converted it into a freeway. So Mopac, I-35 are your two main ones going north-south. It's really easy to get north-south. It's kind of more difficult to go east-west. So if you wanted to go east-west, if you're up north, you got Highway 45. That's a toll road. You have 183. This goes from the northwest and cuts down northwest down to the southeast. This one, half of it is tolls, half of it's free. So it's tolls going that way, and it's tolls going that way. So this part is free right here in the middle. Free. I'm doing this on a trackpad. It's really hard. Okay, so yeah, 183 is great. It's usually, if you're up in North Austin, that's what you're going to use if you want to cut across the city. And then in South Austin, you have Highway 71. This one is free as well. There are some tolls, but they're optional down here. Another thing to note in Austin, this is our airport down here. So it's not too far to get from the airport to downtown. It's probably like a 15-minute Uber ride. It's really, really easy, very convenient. You can see downtown when you're flying in, which is kind of cool. What else? Along the outside, right over here, you have a major freeway. This is Highway 130. This is a toll road the whole way. And one thing, a side note that's kind of interesting, is I listened to a podcast years ago, maybe like 2017, 2018, before I even moved here. And it was talking about one of the worst freeways, and that was Highway 130. In all of the US, this freeway was listed as one of the worst placed freeways. Basically, when they created it, it's the middle of nowhere. There's absolutely, you can tell just by looking here, there's hardly any development out here. It's mostly just farmland, just barren land. So Austin really was growing north-south, and they expected Austin to start growing more to the east over this way. But so they built the freeway, but people just kept moving to the north and to the south. So it was mostly unused freeway for a very long time. And then, recently the suburbs have really blown up, especially after COVID. So a lot of people are moving to these suburbs out here and are taking good advantage of it. So it's nice to know that this useless freeway at one point is actually being used very frequently. So that's Highway 130. It's more information than you probably wanted to know. Okay, if you're trying to go on the west side of Austin, you're going to be going on Highway 360. This is, one of the more picturesque spots in Austin. We have a very famous bridge. You probably see it on t-shirts or pictures of Austin. Highway 360 is also called the Capital Texas Highway, called the Pennybacker Bridge Overlook. I've honestly never heard it called the Pennybacker Bridge. Learn something new every day. Okay, so that is a summary of your major freeways and how you're going to get around in Austin. So here's what you need to know about kind of like the history in terms of like real estate development. So Austin is, like I said, we have quite a bit of water, and over here on the west side, you can see we have a big lake. This is Lake Travis over here, winds all the way up. So this is Lake Travis. There's a dam right here, and then we have the Colorado River that runs through, and it's also dammed in a couple other spots. One time right here, and I believe one more right there. So we have quite a bit of water that runs through. And the further west you go, that's where you start getting to the hill country. And the hill country is these big rolling hills with lots of trees, with lots of creeks, very beautiful, serene place. So naturally, this on the west side is where everyone wants to live. That's where you're going to find the more expensive homes, homes with better views, things like that. So the west side was developed first. So people wanted to live west initially. And then once it got expensive and people were looking for cheaper land, that's when they started moving east. So, go back 20 years ago, there wasn't much outside of 183. There wasn't much to the east of this. So recently, as people started moving further east, keep going, that's when you can find the cheaper land, and that's when things would get more developed. So that's kind of a quick summary. Is on the west side, you're going to find more expensive properties. On the east side, you're going to find cheaper properties. And that is a just very not overstated. That's a very generalized rule. Okay. Like I said, I'll come back to, this is Lake Travis. This is a big boating lake. So it bends all the way up here. And people were probably wondering, Colorado River, how do you guys have the Colorado River? I thought that goes through like the Grand Canyon. It totally does. So Colorado is a word that means red river. And it was initially named Colorado River because of the mud that was kicked up and made the river look red. So they named it the Colorado River. Decades after they named it the Colorado River, they then created the state of Colorado and then that Colorado River. So our river was first. They named it that because of the meaning of the word Colorado. And I can't remember if it's like in a Native American language or Spanish. I'm guessing it's probably Spanish where it says Colorado River. But that's why we have two Colorado rivers. Texas has its own. And they just never changed it after Colorado became a state. So different river. So this is Lake Travis up here. And then there's a dam right here. This is Lake Austin. So Lake Travis is where you're going to go boating. You're going to go, if you want to go boating anywhere, Lake Travis is going to be your best bet. Lake Austin is where they have a lot of lakefront properties, and it's more of like a kind of like a non-moving river. It's very slow moving. There's a lot of lakefront properties. That's where all the mansions are. So it's a really cool spot if you can get in a boat and you just drive around and look at the cool houses. You can go boating on it, but it's just not quite as big. You're going to be hitting the wake of other boats if you go. So you can go. It's easier to get to Lake Travis than it is Lake Austin because most of it, Lake Austin, is private land. Lake Travis has a lot more boat docks. So that is it. And then down here, this is Lady Bird Lake, called Lady Bird Lake, named after the wife of Lyndon Johnson, who was the president right after John F. Kennedy. Lyndon Johnson was born in Johnson City, which is around here somewhere, right here. He was born in this town, and after he became president and died, they renamed it Johnson City. So he was born over here. He became the president, so they named Lady Bird Lake after his wife because his wife was they're both really into Central Texas and the hill country and things like that. Side note, Lyndon Johnson's presidential library is right here at the university. And I went to it maybe 6 months ago. It's a great library. I liked it. Okay, I'm full of tangents today. Let's keep going. So we covered the lakes, Lady Bird Lake. So Lady Bird Lake down here, you don't want to swim in it, which is a real bummer because it's like the perfect spot. There's bridges that go over it. You could theoretically jump off bridges, but there's some algae that gives people hives a lot of times. And there are many times throughout the year where they tell you that your dog should not swim in it because they could get sick. So most people don't swim in Lady Bird Lake. A lot of people go kayaking and paddleboarding, and you can take boat tours through Lady Bird Lake. But typically you're not going to want to swim in it. The boat tour is really cool. I can touch on that later. Okay, so that is Austin from a very, very high level. Okay, I want to talk about major attractions. Austin's a very big city. There's tons of attractions. So I just picked a couple that are my personal favorites. So my first favorite attraction is Lady Bird Lake that runs through downtown. I really like it because they developed the whole lakefront to really have kind of like public things to do. So Lady Bird Lake itself has running trails that run through the whole thing. So you can see right on both sides, there are running trails, and it follows them all the way around like this. Those trails, it's about a 10-mile loop if you did the whole thing. And there's also multiple bridges that go through downtown. And at each one of these bridges, they offer you a chance to, make your loop shorter. So you can do like a 5K loop really easily. You can do a 10K loop or 10-mile loop, whatever. So I really like running. I really enjoy doing Lady Bird Lake because it has dedicated dirt trails that are constantly used. You go any time of the day, there's always people running, biking, pushing strollers, just, chilling, going for a walk, things like that. So it's great. I want to look at some pictures of it. So here's the lake. Like I said, there's a lot of paddleboards, kayaks, things like that. I want to get a better picture of the running trails if I can. This is, they get a lot of people going boating in the summer, trying to get out of the heat. Let me see. Okay, here's an example. So right down here is the trail that runs along, and then they have a bunch of big grass patches as well. So let's go back here. So that is right over here. So right through here. Okay. So we're right here. Right over here is Lady Bird Lake, and this is, some of the dirt trails. They have a dog park right here. They have a lot of grass. They have a really cool park down here as well that I take my kids to. It's the Butler Metro Park. So, whether you're going, there's a huge jungle gyms, like it's really cool. So whether you're going to, go run the river, whether you're going for a walk, you can see there's just tons and tons of little dirt trails through here. So I really like the fact that they have prioritized keeping the downtown and the lakefront really separate. It's not, clogged up with private residences or, skyscrapers, things like that. They really try to keep it separate and have some of these city park amenities. Big fan. I'm a big fan of that. So that's my first attraction is walking through downtown. It's very cool. I really enjoy it. One of my favorite things, and then I'll stop talking about this, downtown. So most of Austin skyscrapers are built on the north side of the lake. And so they're, downtown, when you think of downtown, like skyscrapers, they really start, here and up. So when you are over here on the park, I think it's really cool that you basically have an unobstructed view of the downtown skyline. And I think it's pretty unique because a lot of times, you have outer buildings that slowly go up to the downtown. And I think it's kind of cool that it's kind of like they built up this downtown and like cut it in half. And that's where you're walking. You're just looking at this massive skyline. Personal thing, I think it's cool. You can tell me if it's cool or not, but I'm a fan. Okay, moving on. So another major attraction that people love in Austin is we have a really great bar scene, and that is located on 6th Street. So this is 6th Street. Shocker, it is 6 blocks north of the river. So 6 blocks, 6th Street. So 6th Street is lined with a ton of bars, and there's a lot of bars. There's a ton of live music. So in these bars, at least I'd say like 90% of them have a stage with live music, and a lot of them have 2 stages. So it's really cool. You can walk around there at night and just listen to live music, grab a drink. And there's also tons of good food downtown as well. So like, let's say I just want to go to a bar. I mean, you could probably do this in any city, but there's more than this, honestly. I'd say right here on the east side, I'd say there's probably 15 bars. And I've hopped through all their live music on like a weekend. They're always packed. It's awesome. Over here, I really like the Key Bar. Been there multiple times. Anyways, people talk a lot about 6th Street. When I told people I was moving to Austin, they're like, oh, have you been to 6th Street before? And they started telling me about their experiences with it. So 6th Street is a big deal. People love coming into town, going on 6th Street, hitting up live music, grabbing drinks with friends, all the good things. Okay. my favorite last major attraction is going to be South Congress. So Congress Street is the street that leads up to the state capitol. Austin, Texas is the capital of Texas. So there you go. We have our Capitol building right here. Let's see if we can get a better picture of that. Yep, they have really cool Capitol tours. If you look on their website, they have them every 30 minutes, but their timing depends on the day. Really cool tour. It's only 30 minutes long. Highly recommended. But the road that goes from the Capitol is called Congress Street, and South Congress is when you get south of the river. And this is South Congress down here. So South Congress is located right here, and it's this really cool strip of restaurants, bars, shopping, and it's a very unique spot. It feels, it's a very laid back place where, you know, there's some cool shops, there's some outdoor music. Austin has a ton of outdoor music. Got some great pizza. Home Slice is my favorite. It's just a chill place to go hang out, go shopping, check out some restaurants. Right here, we got one of our famous murals, I Love You So Much mural. Let's see if we can get a picture of it. Yep. So it's kind of like the quirky Austin vibe is alive and well in South Austin on South Congress. So it's a great place to, you know, go out, walk the streets. It's a nice drag to go out, get drinks, go shopping. So those would be my three things, is Lady Bird Lake, 6th Street, and South Congress. And luckily, you know, they're right here. So here's the lake, obviously. 6th Street is right here, and South Congress is down here. So you could walk. You can do all three of them. You could walk it. Super easy, super condensed. So those are my three favorite things to do downtown. Okay, so let's talk about housing. So like I said, the west side of Austin is where you're going to find the waterfront properties, multi-million-dollar properties. When you hear of, like, Joe Rogan moved to Austin, he's moving to West Austin, right? So these are going to be multi-million-dollar properties. They're on the waterfront, things like that. Okay, so like I said, west is more expensive, east is less expensive. And that's just honestly coming from the price of the land. So if you are going to be a developer and you're going to build 1,000 homes, they're going to be buying that land on the east side of town. So I wanted to give a quick overview of where the new construction is going in Austin. So you can see here that there's a big density of new homes being built within this circle, right? So this is 183 up on this side and 71 on the south side, and then Mopac on the west. So these new construction homes are going to be what's called infill lots. So an infill lot is basically, you know, you develop, it's kind of like the movie Up. If you've seen the movie Up, everything got developed in this downtown, and all that was left was the old guy's house, right? So an infill lot would be taking that old house and building something new, building a new house. So that's infill, like everything's built up around it. There's just this one lot that maybe never got developed, and someone bought it and they put up a new house and they're selling that new house. So that's what infill is. So these homes in here, you know, for example, I'll just pick this one randomly. This is an example of an infill house, right? So everything around is totally built. You know, these might be 5-10-year-old houses, and this one is brand new. So that's an example of an infill lot. The opposite is, you know, where you buy a huge chunk of 100 acres and then you flatten it and then you build 1,000 homes. That's the difference. I don't know what that would be called. Outfill lot? I don't know. But anyways, that's infill. So down here, this would be that other type where there's tons of land. You can see there's still a lot of open land down here. And this is where you are building the vast majority of these brand new homes. So you can see here, you know, your subdivision, typical house is where you're going to find this. Infill lots are typically going to be smaller homes, more expensive. And then these ones that are further out are going to be your typical suburb, cheaper, all those things. Yeah, these ones can easily get upwards of $2 million, you know, depending on where you are. in proximity to downtown. So that's kind of a rule of thumb is, anything outside of this is going to be more infill in the inside. And then out here is just going to be, the suburbs, what you think of the suburbs. Okay. I wanted to give you just like a quick overview of the numbers of what has been sold so far this year. Right now it's September of 2024. So these are all the new construction homes in the city of Austin that have sold in the past 9 months. So the median, is 4 bedrooms. It's going to be about 2,200 square feet, and the price is going to be around $610,000. Now this takes into account all these very expensive, massive homes. Like here, this is the most expensive one, sold for $4.1 million. It's 6,000 square feet, and it looks like it's on an acre of land. So this is a wide range. This is a lot of those infill lots that are close to downtown, but there's also some of these more cheaply priced homes. For example, the smallest one was 2 bed, 2 baths, 800 square feet, sold for $300,000. So you have the wide gambit, depending on where you're looking specifically. Down here, I can tell you that the homes in this area will range anywhere from $300,000 to like $800,000. Over here, you're probably like $500,000 to $1 million. And then in here, you're anywhere from $700,000 to $1.5 million usually. So here are the most recent market stats, and these are for brand new homes and existing homes. So this is the whole metro. So I'm going to show you the metro first, and I'm going to show you the city of Austin just to kind of compare the prices. So for the whole metro, the median price sold is $440,000 here in August of 2024. So you can see that we have active listings are going up, new listings are going down, more homes are going under contract. Homes are staying on average 70 days on the market before they sell. And our months of inventory is 4.9 months. So that means right now we are in a balanced market, meaning there's no edge for the sellers versus the buyers. In terms of inventory, we are a balanced market right now. Okay, now let's check out the city of Austin. Okay, here's the city of Austin. So same month, 585,000. Our months of inventory is slightly higher than the whole metro. We have more active listings coming to the market. We have less new listings, and homes are selling a little bit faster. I think it's 67 versus 70. So this shows, the metro itself is the median price is 440,000, but the city of Austin is 585. So obviously, this takes into account a lot higher priced homes, but that's quite a big jump. So when you're looking for maybe affordable places to live, consider the suburbs versus the city itself. Because just by seeing this number, some of you might think, I'm never going to live there, it's too expensive. But the suburbs might have a better price point to fit your budget. Okay, now I wanted to talk about 2 articles that I found interesting recently. And this is from the Austin Business Journal. It's just a local publication. I believe it's nationwide, but this one's specifically Austin. And it's just, I wanted to just highlight a couple stories that I recently found interesting. This one is about home insurance costs. So if you didn't know, home insurance is the prices have gone up a lot recently. Home insurance is typically one of the cheaper things you pay for monthly. You have your, mortgage payment, your taxes, and your insurance. Typically, insurance is the lowest on that totem pole, but recently it's been going up and up and up. So this talks about the increase in Austin of home insurance. So this was surprising. 72% of homeowners said that their premiums have increased. So all around the country, homeowners insurance is going up. This surprised me a lot. 20% increases between 2021 and 2023. So home insurance has gone up a ton, with some areas being affected more than others. Texas is one of the ones where we have seen drastic increases in homeowners insurance. The worst state is Florida. Now, the reason for increased homeowners insurance is primarily because of natural disasters. So when there's a natural disaster that comes through, homeowners will all file their claims and get large payouts. And to account for that, the insurance companies have to then give higher monthly premiums in order to compensate for that additional risk. So think of like Florida. A hurricane comes through and let's say it demolishes 100,000 homes. So you have 100,000 people who then go to their insurance companies and then get money to fix their houses. Now the insurance company thinks, okay, well, this happened this year. The odds of it happening again in the future go up. So I need to charge you more money every month to compensate for that increased risk. So hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, floods, all those things increase insurance costs. And Florida has the worst because Florida gets hit every single year with these insurance insurance payouts, but also natural disasters. And a lot of insurance companies are actually pulling out of Florida. So they have the most expensive. Texas, we still get quite a bit of hurricanes. It's not uncommon for us. Oklahoma gets a lot of tornadoes. Austin doesn't really get tornadoes. So more than you want to know about homeowners insurance. I thought this was interesting. So insurance fraud and legal system abuse are also contributing to higher rates in some states. Legal system abuse definitely happens. And I never heard that term until just now, but it happens even in Austin. So legal system abuse is when you have damage to your property, you file an insurance claim and insurance will pay to have your home fixed. So in Austin, we had this really, really big hailstorm that came through. I want to say it was like January or February of this year, maybe March 2024, let's say. Now this hailstorm damaged everyone's roofs. Some people had golf ball sized pieces of hail that came down. Now legal system abuse would be you having a roof, let's say your roof had 5 years left before it needed to be replaced. Now you have a lot of hail damage and someone comes knocking on your door and they say, hey, I'm a roofer. We're getting a bunch of roofs replaced by insurance companies. Do you want us to take a look to see if you need a new roof? Sure. They go up on their house. Yep, we can take this through your insurance company. You only have to pay your deductible. Let's get this replaced. I'd say this year in my neighborhood alone, probably 25% of the houses got new roofs. And that would be legal system abuse because legally there's damage. Legally, they can get the insurance company to pay for it. Then the insurance company needs to charge higher premiums to compensate. So, there is insurance fraud and illegal ways of doing this and taking advantage of the insurance companies. There's also legal ways, which then increases to higher premiums for everyone. So that's your tangent on insurance. That's why I found this really interesting is they're talking about legal system abuse, which is definitely a thing. Okay, the next article I was interested on was townhomes and why they aren't popular in Texas. So Texas, for example, right here, there are 570 active single-family projects in Austin. 40 of them are townhome developments. And townhomes just aren't super popular in Texas. And the main reason that this article talks about is we have a lot of land in Texas. If you drive within 2 hours of Austin, you can find a lot for $25,000. Like it's expensive within the city, but we still have cheap land around us. So townhomes really are higher density for more expensive areas. And it goes in to talk about the areas where they have the most townhomes. So Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Seattle, those are, expensive areas, high density, more townhomes. And then Houston and Austin, it has decreased. And interestingly, Houston has dropped by 64%. And this article talks about how basically in Houston, they just weren't selling. The customers didn't want townhomes anymore. So less people are building them. Now they're just building normal homes more in Houston. So I thought that was interesting. I've always wondered why they're not in Austin. The answer is we have a lot of land and people just want a single family home. They want the white picket fence in the neighborhood. So you might be coming from an area that has more townhomes. Here, we just don't have a ton. Some areas have more. So if you're closer to downtown, you're more likely to have a townhome. When you get further out, like in a brand new development, they're not going to have townhomes. And to put that in perspective, I just toured a new construction in Buda, which is one suburb south of Austin. And They had single family homes starting at $360,000, I want to say. Their townhomes that are going to get built in the next 2 years are priced at $325,000. So the difference in that is probably $200 to $300 a month. And most people would rather pay that to have no neighbors, no shared walls, versus the townhomes where you have those things and you save a couple $100 a month. So it's just Texas. We have a lot of land. That's why. Okay, I wanted to end with my top 3 family-friendly activities in Austin. These are things that I love to do with my kids. First thing, I like going to Barton Springs. So Barton Springs, unfortunately, is temporarily closed, but when it's open, it is this natural spring that has water at like 65 degrees year round. So it's great in the summer. It's this massive pool and you can see the downtown skyline. It's a great spot. I love going there. Here's like kind of an aerial view. So they dammed it up right here. And this is Barton Springs. And then down here is the city of Austin. So cold water, a ton of fun. It's very popular on the weekends. Just a great thing to do outside when it's really hot. So that's my number 1 thing to do for a family-friendly activity in Austin. My number 2 family-friendly activity is Lake Travis. So Lake Travis, like I said, is located northwest of Austin. It's this really big winding lake, very popular. Here's some of the really nice houses that has some views of it. It's great to go swimming, go boating. It's always packed. It's a great time. So I love Lake Travis. It's a great thing to do, family-friendly activity. Bring your kids, whether they go swimming, whether you get a boat, a lot of options. It's a ton of fun. My last family-friendly activity is going to be going to UT events. So most popular one is going to be UT football. They just came out with the rankings and they're actually number 1 right now. So the city is pumped. So UT football, very big. Everything is UT here. UT Austin, which is the Longhorns, is located right there. So it's just north of downtown. So right here is really where kind of downtown ends. This is basically all students right here. So UT Austin is super popular. I've been to many sports events there. I've been to baseball and basketball, and I'm going to go to a football game this season. But UT Sports, great time, definitely worth checking out. Okay, I got to throw in one bonus family-friendly activity. This is seasonal. If during March and September, Austin is known for its abundance of bats. So one of my favorite things to do is take a bat tour. So there are a couple of bridges that run through Lady Bird Lake in downtown Austin, and there's actually millions of bats that live here during the summer. And the bat tour is where you get on a boat, you go underneath these bridges and you're looking up and you see the bats swarm out at nighttime, and they come out and they go look for food during the night. So that's what the bat tour is. They're under the South Congress Bridge, and people line up every single day throughout the summer to come look at the bats. And like I said, there's millions of bats. If you walk down here at any point in the day, you can hear them chirping and stuff, and it's really cool. Like I said, here's kind of a picture of it. So I love the bat tour. They have boat rides, like I said, and they'll give you kind of like a tour of downtown Austin. So they'll just drive around for like an hour, showing you different things. It's a fun little tour. It's a great family-friendly activity. And then they'll cap it off with the sunset, and then the bats come out. So highly recommend it. It's one of the best family-friendly activities. It's very unique to Austin. Always a great time. That is it for this video about the map side of the city of Austin. Thanks for watching. If you have anything that you recommend doing in Austin, comment it down below. I only had time to give a couple recommendations of things that I like to do, but I'd like to hear some of what everyone else likes to do, and maybe I'll get some ideas and try it out myself. So thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, reach out to me in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you in the next one.